And hello.
And we're live. Hello.
Internet. What's up? I am Jonathan.
And I'm Nick.
And we are the Gosslings. And this is our weekly live stream where we discuss a various array of topics, from our love for typewriters to the craft of writing, conspiracies, current events, kind of anything. We tell embarrassing stories about ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, sort of anything that kind of crosses our path.
I like to define myself as a self-published narcissist.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Seems, independently published narcissist.
Yeah.
What I like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But greetings and thanks for watching. When you end up watching, I hope you're watching this live. If not, you catch us on the back end on the Heavenly Realms YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And actually, the Gosslings Facebook group.
Oh, we started up the Gosslings Facebook group.
Yeah, I'm actually streaming to there right now instead of Fringe Mythology.
Are you?
Yep.
Yeah, we did a lot of our old episodes. Nick runs the Fringe Mythology page also on Facebook. And Fringe Mythology is an awesome page. It's a great little repository of exactly what you think it is, which is, just anything, cryptids, any conspiracy theories, anything weird, just anything on the fringes of what is considered normal. It casts a pretty wide net.
Cryptids, UFOs, conspiracies, all that good stuff.
Fun,
all that good stuff.
Just material, the gooey filling of the creamy filling of life, But then, Nick. You know what? I haven't even seen this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Nick started up the Gosslings Facebook group.
Yep.
And we got some cool stuff that we're gonna try and figure out. We gotta kind of try and figure out maybe how to turn our banner logo into maybe like some T-shirts. We got a wax seal stamp coming that Nick and I were talking about, and bookmarks.
Yeah,
resin bookmarks.
All sorts of cool swag.
Yeah, swag.
Yeah,
we're
maybe some new T-shirts. Yeah, you may have said the new.
What would be ironic is that like all that crap will probably sell better than our books.
Maybe.
Yes. Just like
maybe that's how
that's how you
J.K. Rowling does it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the Harry Potter books. It's all the wands and butterbeer recipes.
I've never read the book. I watched the movie.
Yeah, I watched the movie.
But my son's read the books, and we're like all sanctimonious about it. I'll let you watch the movie as soon as you read the book. Read book 1, you can see the first movie.
Right. Book 2, yeah.
And he thinks that's how that's how we did it.
Oh, okay.
No, I just went and saw the movie.
I hope he never watches this. Because we gotta keep that charade up for as long as we possibly can.
Sure. For sure.
Eventually, we'll probably get to a point where we can have our own website and a landing page for all of our stuff. But for now, probably the Facebook group or our Amazon page is probably the best place. Instagram's not a bad way to go either. Mine is author J Goss, and then Nick's is Nick Goss Writes.
Nick Goss Writes, yep.
All one word.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can find us there too on Instagram. We have Twitter accounts, but I don't really think either of us really use Twitter a whole lot, do we?
No, I don't use Twitter at all. At all. Just a little test there. I'm just testing to see.
All right. Cool. Well, intro out of the way.
Yeah, let's see. Adam should be joining us soon.
Yeah.
We're going to have Adam Burrell on again, our audible narrator.
Yeah.
Official member of the Gosslings.
Yeah.
And he'll be back and joining us here shortly.
Unofficial for now. We have to figure out. I was talking to him about it. Like, we got to figure out like an initiation ritual.
Yeah, we should. Before we say, we'll say unofficially.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely part of the Gosslings writers group for sure. But to be a Gosling, there needs to be an initiation.
To be a Gosling, you must have 1 Sherlock Holmesian pipe, 1 tweed jacket, ascot about thy neck. Sort of like I was watching clips from...
and only read the finest literature.
And only read the finest of literature. Not fiction, but literature.
Literature.
I was watching Karate Kid, or just clips from Karate Kid 3, and the bad guy in the end is wearing an ascot, and I immediately thought of us.
Beautiful.
And he's like such a sleazy. He's got like the slick back ponytail.
Yes.
It was like late 80s, early 90s. So it was that really awful time for fashion. And he had that ascot on it. Friggin' ascot, and I was just like, oh man.
He was in between the yacht club and the tennis courts.
That's yeah, the yacht club, and the golf course. Yeah.
Well, we got plenty of nautica in here to fill the. You have to have something to do with sailing if you're going to be stuck up like that. I don't have any. I have a tennis ball over there. That's about all I'm. There's nothing else sports ball related in this room. Yeah, and that was intentional.
Yeah. Yes, boats are way cooler than sports ball.
I think so.
Come on. I mean,
think so.
Sports ball is such a passive thing because, very few people play. Plus, you don't have to be in shape to play basketball. So, who cares? Or baseball, to be honest with you. I mean, football is negligible. You just have to have a lot of mass. So, whatever. But boats.
There are specific positions.
Yeah,
on the team
wide receiver,
that requires real, a high
shortstop,
high level of athleticism and training and skill.
Yeah, Babe Ruth was never going to be on first base.
But if you're just a big, huge, fat guy, you still have a very important position to play on a football team.
$500,000 a year to just
Whereas tennis, it's all athleticism.
There. Yeah,
I'm not. Maybe golf someday. Maybe, but that's only if I'm by myself and there's nobody else playing. I don't want people waiting on me. I don't want to wait on people.
I tell you what a good alternative to golf is: long-range shooting. It's like golf.
It's like golf,
but for men.
I didn't see that coming. That was good. That was good. Good. Yeah.
I mean, I say that look, I got no rancor towards golf. Dad had golf tournaments.
Yeah, Dad loved golf.
Legend of Bagger Vance is awesome.
Of course.
Whatever. We're not hardcore, taking a dump on golf, but it is funny. It is funny.
Good. It was
Never
good.
pass up. It doesn't matter if you mean it. What matters is it funny?
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Well, the great thing about golf is that the one thing I like about golf that you don't get in the other sports ball events is that you don't see people walking around. You don't see fans walking around with a golfer's name on their shirt.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There is something a little there's something a little cuck about walking around with another man's name across your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's something going on there that's
just a little too much for me.
It's a little too bread and circus cuck for my taste.
Yeah.
I see that and it's why do you worship that guy? I mean, if that guy hit on your wife, would you stop him?
You can get you can get a man's name on your shoes.
Yeah, because I'm stepping on him all day.
If your shoes are made by slave labor in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can wear a man's name on your shoes.
I'd rather have a man's name on my shoes, on my feet, where I walk and stomp and crush every day, than on my back.
Than across your heart.
Yeah. Right over here. Yeah.
What about a man's name on your underwear? I fart on that all the time.
Yeah.
All day long.
That's true. Yeah. Calvin Klein, man. He just, he gets pooped on all day.
All day long.
Yeah, it's true.
And that ain't all.
Poor Haynes. Yeah. Haynes, he's just a little evidence collector. He's a little petri dish at this point. Anyways, now that we've rambled about
Let's go on to the toast.
We'll go on to the toast. So every week we do a toast. If you're watching, we invite you to join along with us. It's kind of a liturgical thing. We the Gosslings, we have a catchphrase, a mantra, if you will, and usually one person says the first half, and then like a priest, and then everybody else sort of repeats the second half, and it's sort of our theme, And so we usually
opening toast.
We drink bourbon whenever we do. It's a cool little ritual. What are we drinking today?
Michter's.
This is Michter's.
Not Michter's rye, just straight Michter's.
I noticed it had a little bit more bite to it. It wasn't quite as rounded and I don't have a palate for it at all.
Well, no, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Really? This is a little smoother. Yeah, you'll see.
I like it. Yeah, it's got a little bit more oomph to it. So if you're watching, if you're with us, or if you're watching us on the back end, please feel free to join us. And,
raise your glass, whatever you have in it. Raise your glass, and I think I start this time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So. Here we go. Take up the broken sword of your father.
And strike down the darkness. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's my job. I'm usually the one to leave a little Irish happy.
Well, I dribble every time. Hold on.
Yeah. Nick is they call him the dribbler, and it's not. And it's not his.
I earned that name in high school.
Yeah, and he doesn't play basketball, so.
I earned that nickname on the basketball team in the locker room.
In the locker rooms.
Not on the court.
Yeah,
Not
on the tour bus, not on the court. They call him the dribbler.
I am the dribbler.
I'm just dribbler.
Oh my gosh. That's great. Yeah, that's one of many nicknames I had. Many nicknames in high school.
Nicknames. I mean, even poor Nick, man. Like even nickname.
Even my name is a nickname.
Did that just weigh on you psychologically?
It blew my mind. I kept going around in circles. My name is Nick.
Like a dog.
It's a nickname, but my nickname is Nick.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he's just like spin off into
most of the other kids just try to find things that rhymed with my name.
Yeah.
And ground that.
Yeah.
Just ground that into the dust. And but the dribbler,
Just
the dribbler is like the nicer of the nicknames. For sure. You can call me the dribbler in church, and people would say, that's funny. But there are other names that you wouldn't say in church.
Yeah. Well, the dribbler is a name that will never leave you, because even if you, as a young man, played basketball, as an old man, even once you stop playing basketball, the older you get, the more it applies.
That's true.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are some other fouls in basketball? There's dribbling. There's double dribbling.
Yeah.
The Traveler.
The Traveler.
That's
cool.
Yeah, it's a cool name. Yeah. Travelers League.
Yeah. The Traveler has come.
The Traveler.
That's pretty neat. Holding. The holder.
The Dunker.
The Dunker. Yeah.
The Jammer.
The Jammer. The Dunker sounds cool because it sounds like Dunkirk.
Yeah.
So it's got like a real, it's like it's got a bayonet on the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
The
passer, the shooter, the center, the forward, power forward.
Yeah.
And that's all I got. I don't know anything else. It's sports ball we're talking
now.
People are like, oh my God, these guys don't know anything about basketball.
We're such dorks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not cool.
There's the ball handler.
Yeah.
Never had that nickname.
The ball bag.
Yeah.
Which Adam will laugh at that later.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a British slang. Learned by the Mighty Boosh, by the way.
I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's cute. You kind of have to be in the mood for the Mighty Boosh, but the Mighty Boosh is really, really good. And it's like low budget, sort of surreal, bizarre, silly comedy.
Okay.
It's about a couple of dudes who just they just go on these zany little adventures, and one of them is like this shallow, like Zoolander type who's like all into goth and whatever's cool, but he's like just kind of a ditz. And the other is like this nerdy, like jazz lover guy who is like the biggest dork on planet Earth. Takes himself way too seriously, but they're both really lovable.
Somehow I'm both of these guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like it really
I'm
is
both
kind
of these guys.
Yeah.
And we go on our adventures every week to, Amigos after this. We go to
Yeah,
the
that's
Mexican
right.
restaurant.
Yeah. It's amazing. I haven't been like, expatriated to Mexico for like war crimes or something. So no, but the Mighty Boosh is really funny, and it ran for I think 2005, 2008, and you can find it. You should be able to find most of the episodes for free on YouTube, because I don't think you can buy it through like Amazon Prime. I checked like through Prime Video.
Yeah,
it might be on Hulu or something or Netflix, but it's cute. It's funny.
I might have to check it out.
We'll watch it sometime. We'll sit down maybe after dinner or something and just watch.
Force me to watch it so I can get
just see if he likes it, because if you like it, you'll find it hilarious.
I won't get any writing done if I like it. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid I'm going to like it.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, have you gotten any writing done?
Not this week.
It was a busy week. Really?
Not this week. No.
Yeah.
No, other than my one-off.
At least he did that.
Yeah.
Slacker.
I mean, I got some things done, but I didn't get like the important thing done.
Did you get like marketing back of house?
Yeah, I did. I submitted an audiobook to Adam Hops Chronicles.
Oh yeah.
We had the book party this past week with all the kids here.
Oh, you did.
Huge event. Yeah.
That
awesome. Was huge.
Yeah.
And I submitted. I'm trying to get the. Yeah, sure. I'm trying to get the hardcover for the second book in the series going. So that's what I'm working on right now. Yeah.
Want to do this one?
Yeah, sure. Weekend review. Why not? Yeah. Yes, and that's all I've gotten accomplished. But I will tell you, I want to show you this.
Yeah.
So at the book party, so I wrote a prequel to this kids middle grade fiction series. I wrote a prequel, and I ideas from 12 different homeschool kids that all submitted their ideas for characters and events, and I weaved them all into one story that works within this universe.
Not easy to do as a writer, by the way.
It was challenging.
I mean, even if they weren't
really
kids who submitted that, I mean, that's a mountain.
It was a feat, and it was actually, my wife's idea, and she said, She planned this book party at our place here. We did it here in the Tiki Lounge. Mm-hmm. So we had 12 kids come over and their parents, and we talked about the book. I have the book published. I printed out copies and author copies to give each one of them, and I typed I typed a note from me to the kids. That's Hops Chronicles. And typed a note to each individual kid and put it in their copy of the book and gave it to them. They all came up and we all clapped and everything. It was great. Good time. But what was cool is at the beginning when they got here, we had the typewriter set up at the front door. And they had to sign in on the typewriter.
Oh, on the typewriter.
On the typewriter.
Oh, that's awesome.
We got pictures of all this. My wife did a huge blog about it. It was really exciting. And then I gave them each their copy of the book. And then I had each one of them sign mine.
Oh, that's cool.
So I have all 12 kid authors in here. And in the back of the book, you can actually see the individual, their submissions, what they actually sent me.
Oh, the actual
used to make this book. So all 12 submissions in here.
That's so genius.
It was great. Yeah, it was great. We had a blast. It was fun. It went off really well. So that was like the big thing this week. And 100% of the credit goes to my wife for planning a
both
huge
of you guys,
event.
Man. Yeah.
She
planned the whole thing?
Oh, she planned it. Yeah, it was awesome.
She's really good at that.
She's awesome at it. Yeah. She knocked it out of the park. The parents were
really
pleased.
You guys are a lot like mom and dad in that way, in that like our dad was the creative one who would sit at the piano and make the music or sit in the studio and produce the album, and then mom was the one who was sort of the left brain who like kept everything corralled and kept the train on the tracks, and whereas dad's just like shoveling coal in the engine, mom's like laying down track in front of him sometimes.
That's true. And Rihanna's she's a creative person too. She has the ability to plan and organize and get a lot of people excited. She's good at promotion and marketing and all that.
Women are really I know so many women, more so than men, who are really good at that organizational, just making templates for things.
That's why, that's why men are by nature minimalists.
Yeah, because we don't want to.
We can't deal with a lot of things.
No.
Soap and shampoo. What else do you need in the shower?
What else do you need?
I can't do anything. I can't handle more than that.
Face scrub, conditioner.
Foot
scrub.
No. But she really, she planned this thing to a T. The kids had a blast. So that was huge. And I was after it was over. It was about an hour and a half of being in here with those kids, and then we all went outside and played dodgeball.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so much dodgeball, fun. Baby.
Everyone left around 3. They were here from 11 to 3:30, so it was like 4.5 hours. I'm still wiped.
Yeah,
I'm still tired from being around all the kids, but it was cool. But I haven't written anything.
Hey Andy. Hey Lisa.
Andy, what's up?
How you doing, buddy?
Man.
Andy's our cousin.
Yep.
And Lisa is his wife.
Also
Happy
our
to have
cousin.
You guys there. Yeah, also our cousin.
Let's
see, what is that? Oh, that is a viewfinder thing. Dodgeball is an excellent choice, by the way, because that's like one of those like no games that you're not supposed to, because it's too violent.
Yeah, most of the girls were playing their own thing.
Yeah.
But the majority, 10 out of the 12 kids were boys.
Yeah.
And they were all very much like characters in my book. Travelers League.
Oh, that's awesome. Right? It's like watching your book come to life.
It really was. I felt like I was in Traveler's Rest, which is the clubhouse that in my book all the
sort of
kid heroes
boys.
Meet in. Yeah, it's like their place where they meet.
Yeah.
And I called this place Traveler's Rest, so they were like totally in that. They were in that world.
Dude, as a kid, if you're into that, to see like something like it's like going to Epcot.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of like that. And we played dodgeball, and the way we did it was like we would have 3 or 4 boys jumping on the trampoline. It's got a net around it. Yeah. They're jumping on the trampoline. The other boys are standing in the grass trying to hit them with the ball. And then, they're jumping and they're trying to throw it out. And if you catch it,
you switch.
Then you get to switch and go onto the trampoline.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
And if the guy on the trampoline catches it, no big. They can stay. They can do whatever they want as long as they don't get hit.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of cheating and dangerous maneuvering going on. It's awesome.
Sure.
This was
knees to the
one
teeth.
of the kids. The oldest of the boys was 13 years old.
Yeah.
I got pelted on every inch of my body from this kid. He
Bonk.
nailed me.
The dodgeball makes a very specific noise.
It does, and we have 2 of them. We had 2 balls going the whole time.
You can duck, dive, dodge, duck. Yep. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Dude, I got hit so bad.
Were you the Steve the Pirate of the
Steve the Pirate
from Dodgeball?
Oh,
You know?
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
But who am I going to share all this treasure with? Yar! That's such a cute movie, by the way. If you've never seen Dodgeball, you gotta. Dodgeball is hilarious. Did you? Are you gonna make a movie for it for the YouTube channel?
We didn't get video of us playing dodgeball.
No, did you guys enough footage?
But we had footage. We had footage of like us being in here and talking about everything. Yeah, and that's all on Facebook.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna mail out my wife's blog post and some video clips. That was really cool.
Yeah,
those kids are inspired. Every one of them now, they all want to be writers.
Because writing can be cool.
And there are a few of them that are like, they are dead serious.
Really?
Yeah, they are super serious about being authors. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Dude, it's awesome. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, no kid. Well, that's not anything. They don't teach you that in school. I mean, they teach you the left brain version of it, but they don't really. School is not about self-actualizing and building. School a lot of times is just about indoctrination and
Oh yeah,
just about getting you to be shaving off those burrs so that you as a cog fit into the gears of the beast system.
The corporate machine.
Yeah, just the soul-sucking lifeless system.
You sit here for 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
you get a lunch break.
Yeah, you get 30 minutes.
Yep.
But to like cultivate something like that is passion driven. That's huge,
cool.
man.
Cool.
And that makes a difference. Like, that probably is why I pursued writing, because went to the Tard Farm where they knew better.
Special ed school.
Yeah, the special ed school. Where it was either that or just like we just pick ticks off the dogs all day and stomp on them like gushers. Oh man, more things change, more they stay the same.
What about you? What have you been doing this week?
Let's see, a couple things. Adam's editing a block of chapters for Wayfarers, which is the 5th Heavenly Realms novel, which is technically out and available in ebook and paperback on Amazon. Adam Burrell is our narrator, by the way, for anybody who watches this later and doesn't know who we're referencing. And he's great. We love Adam. And so he's been working on Wayfarers, and that's been going really well. There are a lot of chapters. It's probably the second biggest out of
Imperium Falling's the first one. That's the biggest one, right?
That's the biggest one. But man, Wayfarers has got to be close. If in fact it may be a higher word count. I'm not sure.
Oh wow.
But there are a lot of chapters, and Adam is great at accents, British accents.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
So I mean, he breathes life into characters and adds dimensions to them. He's such an asset as a narrator, and it's so funny. Like, you go through so many different people and different types of people, cover artists and editors, and all of these different, as a up and coming, burgeoning, nascent, more adjectives writer, author, you go through all of these different people, and eventually you have to, there is like a burning away of the chaff and a keeping of the wheat. And you really do find certain people that are on the same wavelength, who get it, who, are like godly and humble, and they have a skill, and they grow with you, and I've watched Adam develop with me.
Yeah.
Over to the point where like he actually inspired, or in his interpretation of some characters informed how I wrote those characters.
Yeah.
On the back end, because this will be the 5th book that he's done so far. So he's great. It's been super cool. We've been so blessed, and he does narration for Nick's books now.
Yep.
Also.
Yep.
So we're very fortunate to have found Adam, and we really enjoy using him. And it's been cool, and he's fast.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. Yeah,
dude.
I need an editor who's like him. I have an editor who's fast.
Yeah,
but I think it might be too fast.
Really?
Yeah, we've been missing some things.
You know what? So I I used his editor for my first for Empyrean Falling as well, and I noticed there were some issues there, but one of them was there were some things that I caught that she had missed, and I'll tell you, Adam actually,
Yeah,
I've been having him.
I'm not impressed.
Yeah,
Not anymore.
She
missed a lot, dude. She missed. I mean,
an editor's the hardest thing to find because an editor's like a business partner.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's been Adam will be my 4th editor now. And arguably 6th editor. And he's the only one who so far you need someone who is a fan of your work, who gets it, who gets you, and who's on board, not going against your grain, not swimming against your current, but with you on the boat, down the current, who can help steer you away from the rocky shoals, and the treacherous strands along the way. Because like he sent me some edits from Wayfarers. He's he just annotates certain stuff, and he's caught some stuff. But here's the trick that I've learned, because I've had to go through a lot of editors to figure this out. I had the same problem Nick had with his editor, and the biggest problem I had, and this was probably more of a me problem than it was a her problem. So I would never want to disparage anybody from using her. She was very good at what she did, but a lot of the changes that were made were stylistic in nature, while sometimes missing technical errors.
Yep, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about technical errors.
And stylistic, depending on like how refined of a writer you are or what draft it is that you give them, you may want those stylistic, which is probably what she's used to.
Yeah, Rihanna was even reading this book, and she's like, did your editor actually read the story, or did she just go and look for, and I don't think she read the story.
Probably not. It probably was an autopilot situation. I mean, I found stuff in your first book.
Maybe drunk. Who knows?
I mean, look, we all survived 2020. I can't blame anybody for, taking a little at this point. Here's to 2021. To surviving 2020. But that is an important thing about an editor, is like, what do you want as an editor? Do you want somebody who's going to make stylistic suggestions about like, hey, I think this sentence should be said like this instead because it's clearer? Or do you want somebody who is just left brain technical? This is the wrong word. You used plural when you should have used singular.
I want an editor that knows how to make it more readable.
Yeah.
And how to make the story better structured. A line editor and a copy editor.
Oh, yeah. Well, and beta readers.
Yeah.
Nick employs beta readers.
Sometimes. I didn't on the last couple books, but sometimes I do.
And it's not a bad idea. It's just an extra layer.
It's great. Yeah, it just takes extra time. I didn't do it for Hobbit's Chronicles because I was under a time crunch.
Oh, yeah.
Everything had to be done by the book party.
Well, I found, and that was a problem with Empyrean Falling, because the editor, I used Nick's editor for that, and she was a week late getting stuff back to me. And granted, like, it was a big book, so I mean, like, it's fine. But she was a week late getting stuff back to me, and 80% of those changes that she wanted to make were stylistic, and most of them wrong. There were a few really good ones. But most of them were stuff like there's a phrase for it. I can't remember what it is at the moment. But whenever you refer to God as like he or him, you capitalize it.
Yeah.
Well, she went through and she undid all of those.
It's a book about angels.
Right. But that's apparently not every Christian denomination or sect adopts that. They have a phrase for it. Something capitalization. Anyways, not everybody does that. And to be fair, it's not really in the Bible, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's not.
So, it's fair if you're just like left braining it.
Yeah, but that's just stylistic.
But that's also not intuiting the text. You're not plugged into the story.
Right.
You're just reviewing it, and trying to make these changes. So
with the first couple, she was with mine.
Really?
She actually you could tell that she read the story.
She liked it.
Yeah, but I think it's just kind of became, I don't know. I don't want to say easy money, but she kind of just kind of got into the groove of, I know this author. I know what errors to look for.
Oh, yeah.
And she gave me some feedback, which was really good on a lot of
Yeah.
things, but most of that was in the first couple of books.
Yeah.
Everything else is bad.
So
I'm looking to
folded
make
in
a
a
change. I'm looking to make a change.
Well, I'll tell you, I really appreciated Adam because I do a lot of editing on my end. It goes through at least 2, if not 3 rounds of edits before one of my books gets published, which you would not believe if you read it, because I'm sure there's still plenty of typos in it, but that is a thing where it's like, I don't need you to necessarily make stylistic changes as much as I just need you to find my mistakes, find the stuff that I missed, because you will miss stuff, especially if you don't take a really long break between when you finish and when you start editing. You need to give your brain time to disassociate, and forget. You need time to forget your own material. And so finding an editor is like, that's the hardest thing in the world, I found, even more so than a cover artist. Because my blog,
it's easy to find cover artists.
I do not like Fiverr is trash. I think,
for covers, I think it is. And you don't hear that. You go on the writers.
Don't use Fiverr.
No, not for your cover.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll pay almost the same amount of money, if not the same amount of money. And the amount of bad covers and arguments, there are covers that you people have never seen that I have paid for that I got through Fiverr, and they're crap.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's you're stuck with it. You can't cancel. I mean, you can cancel, but you don't want to, because
and they say, and when it comes to a cover too, you do get what you pay for.
Yeah. But dude, for $200 on MyBlart?
But Fiverr, it's like,
you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. It's awful.
Yeah, it's sort of like you can go to McDonald's and you can buy, a Big Mac or a quarter pounder with cheese and pay $5 for it.
Well, you're not going to find professionals.
Yeah.
On Fiverr. These are all people starting out,
right,
doing it on the side,
and they'll argue with you.
Yeah.
I had them argue with me. And not from I've been doing this for 20 years perspective. But from I don't think that looks really good.
I run into that same thing at work. We sell different pricing, different packages.
Yeah.
And the people who buy the lowest cost package are always the biggest pains in the neck to deal with.
Yeah.
The people who spend a lot of money for the big mamma jamma, the big package, they're the nicest, easiest people to work with.
Yeah, because it's not worth their time to sit there and needle you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, you guys are professionals. Here, you do this for me.
Right.
Tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it.
Well, and it's
a great relationship.
Oh, gosh, it's so awesome. I mean, that has been the joy of using MyBlart. And Nick recommended them to me a year ago.
Great company.
And I wish I had used them because I missed out. My cover artist did the worst thing possible. I had a really good cover artist through Fiverr for a year and a half, and he did the worst thing possible. He bailed on me midstream in the middle of my series, which is awful. And I probably lost 6 to 9 months. I lost at least half of 2020 as far as my schedule for production goes due to that. And I wish I had listened to Nick right when that happened and just made the jump to MyBlart, because those guys there, and we took a little bit extra time. And man, I went through a lot of revisions with them. I asked them to make 2 or 3 changes, and I think they're out of Eastern Europe, because the only thing I had to do was I told them, on the spine of, if you go to Heavenly Realms, if you look up Heavenly Realms Wayfarers on Amazon, you'll find the cover. And if you look on the spine, there's it says Heavenly Realms Wayfarers, and then it's got a Roman numeral V with a flaming sword through it, and then my name. And on the spines are oriented vertically, whereas the front and back are oriented horizontally. And so I told them, I was when it came to the flaming sword through the V, I said, yeah, if you could do a flaming scimitar, here are some examples. If you could do a flaming scimitar through the V from left to right, that'd be great. Well, there must have been some sort of lost in translation kind of thing.
Maybe.
Because to them, the left to right, they were still going off the horizontal plane axis, the x-axis, instead of the y-axis. So I actually had to go online and find some free drawing utility and show them what I meant, And they got it right though. I mean, they've been awesome.
And I put the MyBlart book cover design. If any authors, writers are looking for cover designs, and they find this group and they find this live stream, click on MyBlart book cover design. They're professional.
Yeah.
They're affordable.
Yeah.
and they are super talented.
Yeah.
And they put out great product.
And their communication is great.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait days on end for somebody to get back to you. I never had to wait.
They have a system. They have that communication system down.
Yeah, and that's the biggest
thing.
thing.
Expectations.
Yeah.
And they meet them.
Yeah. Set, what is it? Low expectations, high delivery.
Yeah.
And
under promise, over deliver.
Under promise, over deliver. That's the phrase I was looking for. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, and that's I was hoping to get it in this week. I don't have my special edition from Taurus Necros in yet. I really wanted to show that off because that's going to be in hardcover. That's available now on taurusnecros.com. And it's I think it's like $30 or $40, but it has a custom map in it. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
And then
now Fiverr's good for maps.
Fiverr's all right for maps.
Yeah, it's good for maps. You get a map super cheap.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
But anything else that's going to be, an image on your cover or in your book, I'm not sure I'd go with Fiverr.
No, I wouldn't bother. I'd find somebody, find somebody on like Facebook or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have just as much luck finding somebody randomly as you would going through something like Fiverr.
Yeah.
There are probably some other.
I'll tell you where I'm not going to be looking for an editor.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Fiverr.
Yeah.
For an editor.
Dude, no kidding.
Jeez.
But, yeah. So, anyways,
my wife said you should just pay me to do it. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't write that off.
That's funny. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Hey, she can.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe she can. I don't know.
Dude, I would love to like pay somebody to just like format all of my ebooks and
formatting's the worst.
Do all the monkey work.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Those formatting services are definitely out there. But I don't know. I'm thinking of investing in a formatting software. I'm thinking of I'm this close to getting Vellum.
I've heard of Vellum. Yeah.
Vellum for but it's Mac only, which is fine. I have a Mac.
Yeah. We run this off of a Mac.
Yeah, because I've been using Kindle Create, but it's suitable. Yeah. But I'm about to up my game, and I'm thinking of maybe going through like Ingram.
Oh, really?
And I want it to be super sharp. I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
And Vellum can do that, but Dave Chesson, who runs the self-publishing. I can't remember the name of his website, but he's the one who created Rocket, the Rocket software platform that helps you find keywords.
Oh yeah,
Rocket Publisher. And I have that and I use it. He's also engineered a formatting software that's comparable to Vellum that works on PC, Mac, what have you, for formatting ebooks, paperbacks, hardcovers.
Cool.
And it's supposed to be super versatile, even maybe beyond what Vellum offers.
Really?
He hasn't released it yet. It's still
that's exciting
in that beta phase, but they announced that they're going to be releasing it. So I'm going to check it out as soon as it comes out. I hope it doesn't take too long. It's supposed to be out by now, but he's still doing some tweaks. So I'm going to look at that, and then I'm going to choose between either that or Vellum. And I want to step it up a little bit.
No, what is the appeal of that over MS Word?
Just like Word is okay, but there are features that in most formatting platforms, there are features that will allow you to batch work. So if you want your titles to be in a certain font, in a certain way, or maybe have an image near or under them, you can set it to duplicate that same format throughout all your chapters. One, there's more flexibility, I think. Besides, when Word has to be absolutely perfect. You have to do your own table of contents. It's a pain in the neck.
Yep.
Formatting platforms automate that.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that makes
sense. Automate the
especially if you're going to incorporate any sort of graphics. That would be really cool for whenever I publish that unabridged edition in like a year, because we were talking about like doing some sort of like ancient monk, monastery, like codex sort of graphic border around the text with some sort of like angelic design or something. Just something like really kind of really experimental and weird and out there. Something like that would probably be really useful. Because that's so hard to do that with Word. In fact, I don't think you could do it with Word. I don't think you could import a custom border. You might be able to.
That's another thing. Yeah.
And even then, you still have to like try and convert it to PDF because like there'll be some weird. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. because I had a weird artifact in Word that caused my manuscript to be screwed up on my first run, my very first copies of Empyrean Falling. And because my editor took an extra week to get it back to me, I didn't have enough time to order a proof copy to inspect it before I had to order like my 60 author copies so I could make sure I had those in time for the launch party.
Yeah.
Because we had the launch party coming up for the book, which was this big smashing success. And like all these awesome people came out of the woodwork and it was huge. We had it at Viking Pizza, which was super neat.
It was great. It's a great party.
It was a lot of fun. And it was also really embarrassing when I got to looking at the book later and I found like there was one thing because I didn't convert it to PDF beforehand and I didn't have time because the editor to like order a proof copy to inspect it. Mm-hmm. It looked fine in Amazon's KDP previewer, but then when you actually got the physical copy, there was like one line. There was the chapter index for part 2 that was one line up.
Oh,
it looked so amateur.
Yeah,
and like everything else was perfect. It was just that one little bit.
Yeah,
but it said like end of part 1, and then right below it said like chapter index.
Oh,
or whatever, however it was formatted. It's just like, every
pain in the neck.
People paid $15-$20 for this. This sucks. So anyways, there's little tricks like that, man. Convert to PDF if you're using Word or something because it locks in the image. That's a big one. Or give yourself enough time to order a proof copy and inspect it. That's what the proof copies are there for. And man, find an editor who, yeah, you will, Andy. You are staying this week. Yeah. I got mad at Andy because he's supposed to take me out for birthday sushi last week.
Dinner, yeah. We had a little,
love you, Andy.
We had the whole gang at the restaurant come and put the sombrero on.
Oh, you missed it, yeah.
Do the whipped cream in the face and the whole thing. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Andy missed that. Yeah, you are buying.
Yeah,
good.
He's gonna buy too. All right. Yeah, I'm in. I'm there. I'm in.
Be awesome. Yeah. I got mad at Andy because he didn't spend any time with us last week. He's been too busy with work.
I was
to drive an hour and a half to the house.
I was filing my taxes.
Yeah,
and realized that I could deduct 50% of all of our Sunday dinners. Everything I spent on our Sunday dinners over the past year, 50% I could have.
Dude, my CPA is gonna hate me
because we only talk about writing stuff when we're eating.
Why only 50%?
That's the limit for writing off.
Is it
for writing off dinners, meals?
You know what? I also didn't factor in my Amazon ad campaigns. So I sent that to him, and then all the dinners, and then it's funny how it works. Well, and they've extended it to like May 17th, so I still got to get him a couple more things. But like, here's a funny thing about an author. Like, I'll tell you, just like my personal end, Nick's is better because Nick is more successful. But I will tell you, like, I've tallied it up. And I mean, you get your your W-2 or whatever from, Amazon for your royalties at the end of the year. I maybe made maybe $300 in royalties. Is nothing, it's just like no one buys these books.
Yet.
Yeah. Just wait. I'll be dead. It's fine. But I have spent an exponential amount of money. I mean, I have probably spent, when I tallied it all up.
You should be getting money back.
I've spent over $4,000.
Yeah, you should be getting money back.
Yeah. I mean, just the deductions.
Yeah, I mean, you're out. Well,
and that's not counting dinners.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah, if you operate at a loss, there's,
Yeah.
That'll nullify any probably tax liability you could have for any of the book stuff. I would think I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant, so don't take any advice from me.
Yeah.
That's my disclaimer.
Yeah.
And looks like Mr. Burrell is back and ready to join us. So let's see here. I'm going to put this up.
Adam
now you know
Burrell
what's coming.
In the house.
Here he comes.
Ready to land.
Oh, man, there he is.
Touch him down. I love it. That's
what an intro. What an intro. Adam Burrell. Adam Burrell.
Go Troy.
There are those golden British pipes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We love to hear.
We got a message from
I just heard every one of the characters in all my books in that one sentence.
Word.
Yeah.
Or 2 words.
It was so great.
I got a text from my hunting buddy David, who was like, "Gonna have to start smoking cigars in there soon, or pipes."
Ah,
Yeah. Like,
put her ascots on, get her tweed,
ascots on. Yeah.
get her pipes.
David's just like, "Ugh, God, I'm never gonna get this guy a girlfriend." I give up on Jonathan. You know, poor David. We lived together for a while in that apartment in Lennoxville.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
David is he's a natural asset. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, now that Adam's back, should we move on to one-offs?
Yeah, let's do one-offs.
Let's do one-offs.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Now, Adam, this is totally impromptu, but do you have a one-off that you can grace us with today? Yeah?
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
I bet you Adam's got, like, here's how prepared he is, because Adam's such a pro. You know, like he backs up his files like 4 times over, you know, or he has 4 backups. I bet you Adam has like 20 one-offs just waiting.
He's written a ton of stuff. He's written a ton of stuff.
He's counting. At least 12.
He's banked them. Oh.
19, 20, yeah. How many?
I'm giving up at 30.
30? Yeah.
Got him in the
You know,
bank.
and we call ourselves writers.
I'm always scrambling at the last second.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know. I thought I was so proud of myself, Adam, because I banked like 4, you know, in anticipation of typewriter repair. But you know, that's that D&D brain, you know. I mean, that's yeah. When you're creative every 2 weeks, like my my friend Nate, who runs Taurus Necros, is kind of like that. He's just brimming with creativity all the time, and I think it's because you keep that muscle exercised.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
We'll
do Adam, do you want to go first? Do you want to go last? Do you want us to fight over who's going first? What do you want?
You two fight it out.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We'll do a rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Make this official here. Let's see. Go there. All right. Ready?
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot.
All right. There you go.
Right.
Dadgummit, should have known.
Off you go.
All right. I'm going.
No, you know what? I'll go first. Because type A personality, classic narcissist.
I accept.
Plus, most of the time, Nicks are either like a little more lighthearted or a little more easily digestible. So, like, Nick is like a good one to end on, you know, typically. Yeah.
We'll let you choose.
I'm just saying.
Lead us.
I like to kick in the door. So, kick in the door and just. I need one of those Nerf guns. Yeah. Okay, here we go. The stars are singing, Aradiel, the old witch crooned at me with that mocking lilt. Can you smell them? I take a measured breath. No, is all I say. What I want to say is the only thing I smell is the desperate rambling halitosis of your fear and the dander of these 2 stinking mules we've been riding for days on end. But I know better with a witch. You do not give them anything that you don't have to. There is power in the voice. Words are their weapons, and they are schooled in the implementation of incantations. We are 3 weeks into the Carpathian Mountains. The chill of the air steals my breath. Each morning, I wake to the hoarfrost seep into my padded gambeson. My armor alone saves me. The unforgiving surface of the plate mail steel serves as a windbreaker. My sanity is another matter, assaulted at all hours of the day and night by Swyla's ramblings. That is not the name she chose for herself. As a maven of the Coven of Osiris, she had taken the name Delilah. That is how the villagers knew her, before she gave them over to the demons she summoned through the portal of her alchemy, or transformed them into the monsters and dogmen that they became. I dwell on those horrors every night around our campfire, how they howled and yelped as my holy order put their populaces to the sword. A fire is a dangerous thing around a witch, though, and I am sorely tempted to douse it, lest she remember the spell needed to harness and channel it upon my roasted husk. She sits at the perimeter of its light and murmurs. I watch her lips move soundlessly as she stares into the flames. When I grab a stick and taunt her with its torch, she recoils, knowing that any flame in my hand is an imperial light that will burn her to cinders upon the faintest lick of its fiery tongue. This is how I keep her quiet and subdued. It's the only way I can get any sleep. 2 days later, we reached the old monastery. A collection of old Byzantine ruins nestled in the crook of a hidden plateau, this rotting corpse of a temple will serve as the waypoint for my fellow knights errant. We are all bone-weary travelers, looking more like vagabonds and vandals than divinely inspired red right hand of martial order. Under the sign of the moon, I descend with my prisoner. Swyla struggles against her bindings as we ride the mules down the old rocky goat track towards the monastery. Her breathing becomes labored. Swyla, I tell her as sternly as I can, remember who you were, who you are. A witch's power is built upon her glamour, an illusion built around parlor tricks and pacts with the devil. Delilah would have never suffered such indignities, but Swyla was just a farm girl from the old Dacian forest before the Leviathan Order found her. That was many moons ago. Now she is a powerful sorceress, but knowing her true name allows me to pierce the glamour. She is not the demon goddess Delilah, the harbinger of hatred and devourer of souls. Not to me. Thanks to some careful digging and a lot of spilt blood, I learned her true name. With the armor of God, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Likewise, the truth will break all weapons devised by the enemy, including the cursed glamour of Delilah that Swyla has cloaked herself in. She was powerless to stop me. And tonight, deep in the old Byzantine ruins of the monastery hidden in the Carpathian Mountains, surrounded by my brethren, we will free Swyla and banish Delilah back to the abyss. In 1,000 years, she'll be back to plot and scheme and wreak havoc. And when she does, I will be waiting, as I always have. But tonight, we will reclaim the soul of a lost little farm girl and save the world from countless horrors for generations to come.
Very cool. So are they gonna
Like that.
They're going to. Are they gonna kill her?
I know that's the question, right?
Or are they going to have an
Exorciser, right?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
That's kind of the.
I like that.
That's the question, and I didn't really have an answer. I got kind of self-conscious about it
Yeah.
because at first I was thinking like, oh, we'll just exercise her because these are good guys.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if you can't?
Yeah.
You know, because you can still, you know, what is it? Reclaim the soul of a lost little farm girl. You know, so
well, you know, an exorcism can go both ways.
Yeah.
And you know, certainly killing her is, you know, has the same outcome.
Yeah.
In a way. Interesting. Very cool. What inspired that?
I like the image of. I was watching. Well, first of all, I think just the opening line. I don't know. I was just outside. I think I was like having a cigarette or something, and I just remember like the phrase like the stars are singing. You know, just like how crazy that sounds. You know, like that doesn't sound like something a normal person would say. You know, and I remember that scene from Adam. Have you ever seen the first season of True Detective?
Yes.
You remember when they captured Reggie Ledoux, you know, and he's like handcuffed and on his knees. It's right when they find the kids, you know, and he's talking about like, you know, black stars, and I've seen you in my dreams, you know, and time is a flat circle, you'll do this again, you know, and all this like creepy Lovecraftian stuff. And it's like, what if it was that, but it was a chick, and instead of like blowing her head off, like, you know, like Woody Harrelson did, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen, you know, instead of that, what if like you had to take that person somewhere for weeks, and you were just burdened? And then I was watching clips of Excalibur, which is like one of my all-time like favorite movies. Like Excalibur is so cool. Yeah. You know, and there is that like third act where they have to go on the Grail quest, and all the Knights of the Round Table. That movie is so beautiful, like, because like just visually, the armor is amazing. It's like archetypal plate mail armor. I'm sure they like spruced it up. I'm sure it's not the most historically accurate, but it's cool. Yeah. And there's that whole motif of like the Grail quest of like all of these knights just their armor's rusted, and like their gambesons are rotted, and and they're just like haggard and scraggly and just emaciated, just on this quest for years and years, just like that's a cool image.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, but whatever. Nothing will ever come of this.
And you got it all on one page.
Yeah, all
Well
on one
done.
page. Yeah,
Well done.
That's I may have discovered single space, but my gift to Nick is one page.
Well, who's going next? Me or Adam?
You go next.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go next.
Actually, no. You know what? Let's change it up. Adam, why don't you go next? Because that's usually how we do it. And let's see what Adam has to say, and then we'll make Nick sweat a little bit.
I'm already sweating.
We'll just make him.
Dadgummit.
It's all right, Nick. This isn't as long as my other ones.
Dude, your other ones
I
are
love
great,
it.
though.
Dude, I love it all.
He hit the breaker and the lights went out. The billions of dots of light faded and disappeared with that single switch. The man stood there sad, and a tear rolled down his face. He had watched over this project from the beginning, guiding and helping as assistants where he could. There had been losses along the way, some which hurt the project more than others, and more importantly hurt him. Loyalty and belief in what they were doing was the most important thing in the world to him. Making this journey together was all that was important. Growing together and bringing together all the people of this place was all that mattered to him. There were branches and struggles, hopelessness and fear of the failure was his constant companion. His assistant, which had worked alongside him, had gone home to go to the party to celebrate the completion of the work. All his other lesser assistants were there already, having left earlier to show the other guests where they had to go. Only one person was left. He could feel his presence in the darkness, watching and waiting, willing as he had always been, the one he depended on more than anyone, and asked to do things which he could not ask anyone else to do. Well, son, shall we go? I always thought less would make it. I will always forgive. All you have to do is ask. I know, Father, but I never thought they would. Everyone comes, my son. All make the choice to remember or not. Now, let's catch up to Michael and Gabriel and welcome our new entrants into our kingdom. Their journey has been long. With his arm wrapped around the boy's shoulders, holding him close, they walk slowly towards the doorway etched in light and into the new future of peace and prosperity.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
Well done.
Very cool. Very cool.
How long ago did you write that?
4 weeks?
4 weeks ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What inspired that?
That's awesome.
Heavenly Realms inspired that.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Adam. That's cool, man. That's
Yeah, that's neat.
I like the idea of just like switching off the lights, There is. Did you ever growing up in the church, did you guys ever discuss the concept? It's fairly esoteric around here, or at least frowned upon. The restitution of all things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not. That's one I've always wrestled with. Because you have that part in there, where you talk about like not everybody makes it, and that's a very biblical concept.
Mm-hmm.
It's repeated over and over again, but that's a hard pill. That's a jagged pill to swallow, man.
Sure.
Sure. It's
Yeah, it is.
What do you
Dad was always very much, he's there for anyone who asks for him to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, I may not have seen him before. I may have never seen him walk through the doors of the church before.
Yeah.
But if they come asking, then it's my duty to show them the way.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
And
Well,
it's always been like that.
Yeah.
Always.
it's just it's a tough thing for a lot of people. I think nowadays, especially, to wrap their heads around, because I think there's this real problem in the first world, at least in America, with like ownership, that Jocko Willink extreme ownership thing, of like personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And no one, because I mean, arguably, we three are like the last generation to get spanked,
Yeah.
And so like there's just this, at least collectively, statistically, and so there's this real concept that seems to permeate even in theological culture, that like there are no real consequences. Like that's a big thing with progressive Christianity nowadays. Is I mean, even certain iterations of the Bible that people have written espouse that, these like more liberal sort of progressive. And it's so destructive, because like that's one concept that I kept coming back to. You've noticed, like in the Heavenly Realms books, is that like everything hinges on your choice.
Yes.
And there's that phrase, like, if God is benevolent or omniscient, then whence cometh evil? But it's like, well, that's the whole point of free will. Like that's that little kernel of chaos,
Jesus may have said, "Come unto me, all who travail and are heavy laden, and I will refresh you."
Yeah.
He may have said that, but what he never said was that the 10 Commandments don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
never threw off the yoke of that.
No. And so,
Yeah.
Yes, there's forgiveness in this hand.
Yeah.
But in this hand, there are those rules and there is consequence.
Yep,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because at no point did God turn around and say, yeah, those 10 rules I wrote down about, I don't know, a few thousand years ago. Just don't worry about them. He never said that, though, did he?
No.
He never said that.
No.
Well, and that's the great schism between Christianity and society, is that like that's how you can tell the difference between that Luciferian order of light, that false light, of Luciferianism, and the true light of the Lord, of God, is that like one comes with standards and the other says like, no, just come as you are.
One requires something of you.
Yeah, requires something of you, and requires you to admit that you are not the smartest person in the room. The one requires humility, and the other, this Luciferian false order of light, says like, no, standards are just restrictions, and if it's good for you, then it's good, and just come on, and you can break all those rules, and your truth and my truth, and but it's chaos, and it's so self-destructive, because it's like you can sit there and you can, there's nothing stopping you from drinking bourbon all day, every day, except liver failure and death.
Right.
So there's probably a reason why it's not, it's not good to do that every day. And that's what those commandments are for. I think it was probably, I can't remember which book it was that I was writing when I kind of like hit on that concept in my development, that like the 10 Commandments, the standards that God imposes on you, they're not restrictions handed down, they're not fiat handed down by a tyrant who can spank you into hell if you break his little rules. They're not arbitrary. They're guidelines to keep you
in safe waters.
Yeah, from getting hurt.
Yep.
Yep.
For sure.
I would love to hear what your dad has to say about that.
Yep.
I can always remember back in the 80s, there was a couple, there was Myra Hindley and Ian Brady, and they killed lots of children and
Really?
And hid the bodies on the moors in Dartmoor.
Wow.
And they were both in prison, and she only died very recently. And I can remember sitting in my high school ethics class, and my high school ethics teacher sitting there going, well, she says she's sorry. So now we need to forgive her. And I went, whoa.
It's not going to bring the children back.
I said, I agree with you to a point.
Yeah.
As in showing her the love of God.
Yeah.
But it's not up to us whether she's forgiven or not. That's up to someone else.
Yeah.
But more importantly, she died having said she was sorry and all of this, but she died having never shown those parents where their children were buried.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
If she was truly sorry,
yep,
she would have given them that peace.
We've talked about this.
In my opinion.
Yes.
You know, if she was truly sorry, she would have been willing to go back to that most painful point in her story that she's asking for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And give those families their loved ones back for burial and a goodbye.
Well, and that's something that like Nick and I have talked a lot about, maybe privately. I don't know if we've talked about it here or not, but that's a big problem that I see in the church here as well, is that, and just culturally, is that like everybody's big on forgiveness, but it's like, because I worked with some of those people when I was on the boats. You know, I had a captain who was like, he was a hockey player and he was a brawler, and he used to like go to bars and just pick fights with people just because, you know, he didn't like how they looked, you know, and then his dad, it's just a piece of dirt, you know what I mean? Like, and then his dad died, and then after his dad died, he got saved. And so he's like, but God has forgiven me of all that. And it's like, well, just like you're saying, it's like, wait a minute, you know, what happens between you and God, that's between you and God. But what happens between you and the rest of humanity that you live around, that's the difference between forgiveness, grace, mercy, and atonement. And there's no attention given to atonement. And C.S. Lewis talks about it in, I think, Mere Christianity, when he talks about, like, you know, if I commit a crime, I'll confess my sins and be forgiven by God, but then I'll immediately turn myself in and, you know, go to the hangman's noose. You know, and it's like, you can have that mercy and grace where, you know, God may put somebody in your life to, you know, to absolve you of your sins so that you can carry on and do his work. But there's no guarantee of that. There's no promise of that. And it's not a get out of jail free card for making things right for the people that you've hurt.
Yeah.
You know.
No. Yep. Absolutely. There's an obligation to the mess that you've made.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, you do need to get right with God. You know, that's your eternal consequence that you need to deal with and get right. You figure that out. But there's also the temporal mess. And making it right, because the damage you've imposed against other people, the sin against other people, you know, still has it's still having its repercussions.
You know,
and you should do something to make it right.
Absolutely, she could have realized what she did was wrong, but in my belief, she isn't truly sorry, because if she was, she'd have given peace to those families.
Yeah.
And I think it's something like 15 children. That's
insane. Were they Sick. Part of some sort of satanic cult, or were they just crazy people?
Just evil people.
Yeah, man. It gives you pause when you think, like, because Adam, it seems like your life is very similar to ours, just like fairly normal, you know, suburban pedestrian kind of, you know,
or just normal people,
just normal tax-paying, law-abiding citizens. But like, there is a deep, steep cliff that you can go off of,
for real,
and into like some major psychopathy, you know, and people live there, and people do that.
That's horrifying,
you know? And it's, you know, it's crazy how much. You know, there's a lot of credit given to the devil when it's probably just like, but at the end of the day, it's people's choices.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've known girls that grew up in satanic cults, you know, that are like normal people. And then, you know, and they've adjusted, and they got saved, and they're, you know, normal. And then I know other girls who grew up in very bad environments, and they're, you know, they'll be damaged by that forever, you know, barring a miracle.
And then it's like there are normal people out there, like that couple. Like were they a normal couple of people growing up?
I think so.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It was driven by him mainly. She always said she was the follower, but whoever knows, really.
Yeah, that's typical. Yeah, you get that a lot when it's a male-female couple, crime couple. It's like the woman usually defers to the guy anyways, and sentence is usually lighter because of that. Adam, have you ever read, I don't think you've read it, The Sociopath Next Door?
No.
It talks about that. And I was actually talking about this with some friends of mine. I was having dinner with them last night. We're talking about like nature versus nurture thing. And it's how, it's almost like, because we all know those like normal, middle class upbringing people who just go bad. And there's like nothing in their environment that made them go bad. They just like there's something in them that just, took a dump in their soul. And we were talking about like how your environment really matters. Obviously, your environment shapes a lot of who you are. But it seems like what it does is it touches whatever's inside of your nature, whether it's, and it can touch a demon. It can touch a Pandora's box, and it doesn't have to, but, I don't think that like serial killers are made necessarily as much as they're like cultivated,
Yeah.
That's the whole point of MK Ultra, and now on to Conspiracy Corner. No, that's killer though, man. That's
It's like dogs, isn't it though?
Yeah, it really is.
You can have the meanest looking pit bull in the world, for example.
Yeah, Lily.
But because she's been brought up properly, she's the most loving, kindest dog you'd ever want to know.
Yeah.
But you take that same dog as a puppy and you kick it and you beat it and you shout at it. By the time it gets to Lily's age, well, no one will go near it.
Yeah, I saw that. That chiropractor buddy we were talking about earlier, he had a pit bull who was severely abused as a puppy before he got her. And she had some wires that were just crossed. And she got jealous one day of this little kick-me dog, this little like Pomeranian thing that was like sniffing around my boots. And I went down to pet the Pomeranian because it was very skittish. And it's like a rare opportunity to like sort of ingratiate myself to this dog who very rarely ever comes around. And the pit bull only loved about 6 people. And thank God I was one of them because her head was like the size of a beach ball. I mean, it's just, her head was like twice. I used to give her piggyback rides. Like she was super sweet, but she had to be in a very controlled environment. And because she had been abused, just like you say, she could go code red at any moment.
Yeah.
And those wires were just...
That's scary.
Dude, and I watched it. I watched that little yip yip dog snarl at her because she got jealous and she came in between me and the other dog. And the other dog got pissy about it and like snarled at the pit bull. And the pit bull just clamped down on her and shook her like a rag doll and killed that dog,
Wow.
And tell you the only thing that'll fix that, by the way, because there ain't no dislodging. Yeah, you know where I'm going.
Yeah, this is great. This is great.
This is a good bit of advice, actually, for not just you, Adam, but everybody else who might be watching. Like, so like no one could get that pit bull to dislodge. My buddy, like the owner of the dog, who was his uncle, was like trying to, and a vet tech was trying to pry her jaws apart, and she wouldn't let go. And my buddy was choking her out and punching her in the head, and he loved that dog. He lived for that dog, like I live for Lily. And I didn't know what to do, so I'm just watching this disaster unfold in front of me. And I saw my buddy reach for. We just got finished shooting, and I saw him reach for his Beretta 92, and he was gonna shoot his own dog right there on the grass. In order to like get this to stop, because it was his dog's fault, and that ownership atonement sort of thing.
Yep.
And so, but I remember in the back of my mind, there was like some Joe Rogan episode or something where somebody was talking about this. I don't know what it was, but I remember like just this thing of if you take 2 fingers and you go around to the back of the dog and you lift up that tail, that dog will unclench. And you know what? Fair enough. Because if someone did that to me, I'd probably let go of whatever I had to, you know?
Yep.
And it worked. It was the only thing.
And he did that.
I did that. I didn't know what else to do, man. I was
And
watching
it
my
worked.
buddy. Like, he was going to shoot his own dog. I'm like, well,
Hey.
you know what?
Hey.
Nothing else to lose at this
Now,
point.
if that pit bull had a hold of Shelby, I probably wouldn't stick my finger up the dog's butt. But if the pit bull had one of my kids,
Yeah.
and was going red, I probably still wouldn't stick my finger up. No, I would. I'd do it. I'd do it at that point. It depends on which kid.
Yeah, it depends on
I'm
which
just
kid.
kidding.
Depends on how good they've been. Did they brush their teeth? Did they go to bed on time?
Yeah.
You know, did they shoot me in the face with a Nerf dart? You know?
Is their room tidy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go through my checklist first.
Would it be funny to I wonder how much that would damage your children if you just mess with them a little bit and be like, well, look, depending on how good you are,
I might just use my pinky.
yeah, depends on my level of saving you, you know? I mean, it
Absolutely.
it might be, depending on whether it's I might make some phone calls or I might go full Taken for you. I don't, I might be Liam Neeson. Who knows?
All right. Now I'm going to move on to my typewriter one off.
Yeah.
Get
All right.
mine out of the way
Sorry.
here.
Sorry, Nick.
Nah, it's all right.
Cozy up to that microphone, Nick.
Yeah, I'm good.
You should do your sultry radio voice.
I'm gonna get cozy with this microphone.
I will buy your dinner if you read the whole thing like that.
Nah, it doesn't
Oh
fit.
my!
We could just have a
Miss
duel.
Money Penny.
I don't stand a.
That was good.
I don't stand a chance against audible narrator over here.
If we could have a duel, that'd be awesome.
All right. Radio voice duel.
We like to have fun here on the Gosslings.
And just like that, I stuck my finger up the rear end of that rabid canine. And you know what? That dog let go.
That dog's my man's best friend.
And now it won't leave my side. You know what I mean.
She said, Moon River.
The dog looked at me and said, "What are you using the whole fist?"
Serving a time, Doc.
All right, here we go. All right. I flunked typing in college. It was the only course I ever failed, and no matter how much I begged, pleaded, or reasoned, I was given no recourse to correct my final grade. That F followed me throughout my college career. It was all A's and B's in every other course over the 4-year stint, but that one F earned in my very first year haunted me. I was discouraged. I thought I had a learning disability. I avoided any keyboard that wasn't attached to an instrument. I never once imagined that I would be writing books in my adulthood. As a matter of fact, I thought I didn't deserve to even try. So I didn't. Looking back, my favorite course was English literature. Again, this course was taken in my first year. My heart soared, my mind expanded. I couldn't get enough. Poetry or prose, it didn't matter. I was in love. That teacher was amazing, the type they make inspirational movies about. But I forgot his name, and here's why. At the end of the semester, I had to write a short essay about an inspirational figure. I chose to write about the contrast between Peter and Paul from the Bible. That essay was the only thing I had ever typed on a computer and printed out for school up until that point. It was painstaking work, but I did it. And it turned out pretty well constructed and fit for submission to my teacher. It turns out my typing class came in handy, even though I was failing it. I submitted my essay to Professor Inspiration, and the following week received my grade. It was an A-. At the end of the paper, in red ink, was the teacher's note. This was very good. All of a sudden, I wanted to be a writer. I felt like I had an opportunity. If only I could convince this wonderful man to review more of my writing and help me get better as a writer, I may have a shot at becoming something great. So I steeled my nerves after class one day and approached him. I asked him if I could submit more writing and have his feedback. He quickly replied, how can I put this? No. It was snarky, it was cold, and it crushed my dream of writing. More than 20 years later, here I am writing my 10th book, typing my fingers off, and getting closer to living my reinvigorated dream of being a full-time author. And all because my wife challenged me to write a book based on a bedtime story I was making up with my son. Up until that point, I never, ever, ever, ever considered writing anything for anyone else. The long and the short of it is this. After 20 years later, after 2 crushing rejections by academia, I'm happy to announce that both of those teachers are dead.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm so happy that Nick had originally done that for, was it
last week? Yeah.
Last
Sunday.
But you did it on Facebook.
Yeah, I did. I did it on Facebook, and I was like, I wanted to type it out last week, but I felt like it was cheating. And this week, I'm like, no, I'm going to type it out.
Yeah.
So I typed it out.
He did it on Facebook, and then, but like the response was really good on it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was surprised. I posted it late on a Saturday night, thinking no one's gonna read this.
Yeah, who's reading
No one's
this?
gonna read this. I got up Sunday morning, and there were like all these comments, like, really complimentary comments, and I was like, wow, okay.
Well, it's like everybody has.
Yeah,
I think everybody can share that experience a little bit,
Yeah.
Like Adam,
Ended with a little humor.
Did you ever have that sort of rejection of academia? He's like, you have no idea.
Yeah, I did in maths actually. I hated maths. I was always bad at maths.
Me too. Yep.
And we've got something called GCSEs, and that then leads to A levels. So GCSEs you take when you're 16ish.
Okay.
And then A levels you take when you're 18. And obviously you can't do the A level unless you do well enough at the GCSE. So it's like an intermediate.
Right. Okay.
And so I've been told, oh, you'll get a C in maths. That's all you can do. All you can do. So just carry on. And I managed to get an A star.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I very proudly thought, right, I'm going to do the A level maths now. Sat in my maths lesson, and the teacher pointed at me and went, I don't know how you did it, but you shouldn't be here.
I hope, by the way, that is the screenshot that YouTube wants to use for this whole episode.
Of Adam pointing at us? Yes.
That's a dad point if ever there was one.
Oh, yeah.
With the one eye. Just the one. Yeah.
Here, do it. Point again.
Oh, yeah, Nick's going to do a screenshot.
I'm going to do a screenshot. Bam. Got it. Thank you.
Or should have had me going like this. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't do it. My bad. So did he kick you out of that class?
No. But every week it was like, you sure you want to carry on?
I'm here, aren't I? Yeah.
And then finished the A levels, got an A for them, and he turned around and he went, I still don't know how you did it.
That's awesome. Did you do like any sort of tutoring or anything between the two or beforehand? No? You just had it in you the whole time.
I just worked like heck.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, kudos to you, man. I've never been able to, I failed college algebra. That's how dumb I am when it comes to math. I cannot remember, why am I using the X over Y times Y over, all that stuff.
How often do we use it now?
Yeah. I mean, well, if I had like a real job where I was like, if you're like a plumber, or an architect or like an electrician where you have to convert joules to watts, then okay, sure. Yeah. But in my monkey jobs, No.
Monkey chops.
But Adam, did you go to university?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did you study?
Chemistry.
Ah, well, that makes sense. Chip off the old block with the boy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my dad was a biologist before he became a vicar.
Really?
No kidding.
That's cool. Dude, your dad is fascinating.
He's a
That's really cool.
That's cool.
Adam seems to have like a really good relationship with his dad.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah. It's awesome.
That's pretty neat. Well, because most people, that's the reversal of like, I mean, as far as Europe goes, that's basically like the American version of that is like becoming a Catholic at age 40. It's like, it's usually the other way around. You usually start off religious, get into science, become an atheist.
Yeah.
But he went the other way.
For him, the thing that changed him is he ended up with what was it called? I can't remember what the scientific term is, but he had a tumor on his face here.
Yeah.
And he had to have 6 surgeries to have it removed and the plastic surgery to repair it.
No kidding.
And the thing that did it for him is as he went under the anesthetic every single time, he looked up and someone called Jesus was holding him.
No kidding. Wow. Now, was he religious before that?
He was, but not staunchly religious.
Not vicar.
No, he'd go to church, but
yeah,
that was about it. But that changed that for him.
Wow.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. Because like the thing is, if you're casually or just like socially religious, it's usually not deep enough for you to have an experience like that. If it's just all in your head.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your brain doesn't have anywhere to pull it from because it's not that deep. It's obviously not coming from you, I guess, is what I'm saying. Because that's always like the atheist argument is it's like some form of like schizophrenia, or wishful thinking, delusion, self-delusion, But when you're like, how old was he when he had that happen? 20s?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's, I mean, even back then, that's still pretty young to have like that profound of an experience. Yeah. And yeah, it's like, that's that numinous kind of thing that really makes you pause. That's cool. Well, Nick went to college too, but
I flunked typing.
Yeah. Are those professors really dead now?
They have to be. There's no way they can still be alive. I don't know. I can't verify if that's actually
true. You didn't get on like peoplefinder.com.
Everything in that one off absolutely 100% true except that last line. I can verify the accuracy of everything except that line. But they were both so well. The lady, bless her heart, was 450 pounds.
Was that the creative writing teacher?
And my mom's age. No, that was the typing teacher. She's got to be gone. There's no way. Yeah. And then the guy was like in his late 60s.
Oh yeah,
and he wasn't in good shape.
Well, but he seems kind of bitter, and bitter people live forever.
Bitter people do live forever, don't they? I don't know. I don't know.
It's like the more evil you are, the longer you live.
Maybe.
While I think about it,
bring to the table,
While I think about it, Philip made me a coffee before he went to bed. I have to apologize.
Did you use that mug intentionally? Yeah.
That's my boy. That's great. Well done, Philip.
Yeah,
well
done, young man.
And he shot me in the backside with a Nerf gun. And then turned round
over the line.
I said to him, "Why did you do that? Don't do that to Daddy." And he went, "Nick told me to."
No, I told him not to. I told him not to do it.
Yeah, there was a lot of reverse psychology. I was like, no.
He squealed on me.
Yeah. He's so cute, man.
I said, definitely don't shoot your dad with a Nerf gun.
But we made it very clear, like not in the face.
Not in the face.
Yeah, not in the face. Don't knock his glasses off.
Love it. But man, getting a little extra one in there with the Minnie Mouse mug. Mm-hmm. That's all him.
That's all him.
That's his genius.
We did not. Yeah, those are your genes at work, baby. Yeah. I mean, look, it's a pretty mug.
It is. It's nice.
It's very fetching,
It's
Adam.
nice.
Goes with my eyes.
Yeah, it does. It matches your eyes. Come on.
What do you want to do next? You want to do a topic or conspiracy corner?
Let's do conspiracy corner next.
Conspiracy corner.
So we're running this whole set list out of order, baby.
Might as well we might as well talk about Area 51 and the shenanigans.
Yeah. I have you guys ever listened to? It's been out over the past year or so, like the Bob Lazar interviews or anything about Area 51.
No.
Have you ever heard of Bob Lazar, Adam?
Yes. Yeah, I heard of him.
Really good. He did Joe Rogan, his podcast, and I'm not a big fan of Joe Rogan, but anymore. But I listen to every now and then. There's one that's like, oh, this is cool. I can't not listen to this, and that's one of them because he talks about like he was contracted out. Was he a physicist or was he was an engineer?
I don't know.
I think.
Bob Lazar.
And he got contracted out to work on reverse engineer the technology, especially like the anti-gravitational technology of the UFO. And it's fascinating stuff, and I think
there's even something on Netflix. Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers.
Yeah, he's big now. Yeah.
I might have to steal my brother-in-law's username and password and watch this.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think you should.
I totally will. Totally will.
I mean, you shouldn't. It's a sin to steal, but is it really stealing or is it just sharing?
Well, he gave it to me.
It's sharing.
He gave it to me a couple years ago.
That's not theft. That's sharing.
Is it still sharing?
Yeah.
And sharing is caring.
Exactly. And caring is love. So
steal from Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just taking back from the beast.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's right. That's right. Very interesting. Yeah, I heard that one of the generals that was trying to cover up, like all the local news stories when Area 51 first happened, there was the crash.
Yeah.
The local news was covering it first, and I can't remember the colonel that was in charge of, the area itself, or the crash site area.
Yeah.
Had a communique that said, that it was a disc that crashed that they're investigating. They sealed off the area, and then his commanding officer was sent in to basically cover everything up, and had a press briefing in his hand. And on this press briefing were the words, "The bodies that were inside the disc have been moved to base," and it was a disc. And then with this briefing, he got on the air and tried to convince everyone that it was a weather balloon that was down and all this stuff, even though he had communication that they did like this photo enhancement of like the words that were actually on the page and confirming that there was a disc, there were bodies, and they had been moved to the military location. It was I think it crashed like on a farm. The crash site was like a farm or something.
Oh, okay.
And so they moved it to.
That's in New Mexico?
It's Area 51, I believe so. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
New Mexico or Arizona. I thought it was New Mexico. New Mexico is beautiful, by the way. I mean, it is like the most picturesque. I only spent 12 hours there one day driving out to Colorado, and I'll tell you, like, if we ever get you to the U.S., if COVID ever goes away and we can like actually have normal life again, New Mexico, man.
It might be Nevada.
Oh, Nevada. That's
it
right.
might be Nevada. Yeah,
Area
51 traveling. Ooh, yeah.
Of course. Shows you what I know. Yeah.
I don't even know where it is, but I know a lot about it, but just not where it is.
Look, sense. All those
it checks out.
All those, it checks out. They're all like Nevada.
Now Roswell's in New Mexico.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Roswell is.
Yeah.
But Area 51 is the military compound.
Yeah.
Roswell's where the crash was.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
The crash was in Roswell, and this was all 1947, I think. Yeah. Also, the year that Hillary Clinton and Al Gore were born.
Oh yeah.
9 months after this crash.
Yeah.
Not that there's any connection there, but
no, certainly not. Yeah, certainly not. Demons coming out of every.
Demons falling from the sky.
Yeah, just
and 9 months later, Al Gore was born.
Gosh, no kidding. Now, Adam, we were discussing Conspiracy Corner, and I think the Mrs. had recommended Area 51.
Yeah.
I think, if I remember correctly. So, does she have any actual interest, or did she just like pull that one out of thin air?
She does.
Yeah.
her father was in the RAF, well, still is in the RAF, and he visited, and there were areas he was told, you're not allowed to go.
No
And
kidding.
he was there.
Wow.
And ever since then, she's been interested.
Dude, that's awesome.
You know what's interesting to me is that it seems like almost every country except the U.S. has released some statement of official disclosure.
Oh, yeah.
But there has been nothing in the U.S., and I don't know why.
Adam, have you guys ever had anything like that? Do you guys have an English equivalent of Area 51 or Roswell that's infamous like that? That's just like a nexus? I don't remember. I mean, you got Stonehenge, which is super weird, but like
that's just weird.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember there being, you know, and I'm not super well versed on like alien lore or UFO lore, but I'll give you a corollary. You know, just about everybody has like a Bigfoot. You know, every continent, every culture, every country seems to have like a Bigfoot, a ghost, those like cryptid things. Just about every country, or you know, has like an Atlantis or a flood.
They all have a flood narrative, yeah.
You know, but the UFO thing is like it's not universal.
No,
which really kind of makes you like that makes you stop and think. You know,
have you ever seen anything in the sky that was questionable that you couldn't explain?
Yeah.
Have you really?
Tell us about it.
I was driving home from work late one night, and there was a triangle in the sky.
Really?
And it had a purple light on each corner, and then it looked like, for want of a better description, you know those LED lights people buy and put under the sills of their car?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Like that going down the sides.
Wow.
And completely silent. And it must have only been 300-400 feet off the floor. And it was just absolutely silent. And I went
not moving, was it moving or was it just
stationary? Absolutely stationary. And I looked down because I had to turn in the road. And when I looked back up, it had gone.
Wow.
Interesting. Wow.
And the great thing is, Dee saw it as well. So I wasn't the only one.
So you're not crazy.
No.
Interesting.
Either I'm not crazy or we're both crazy. And so that works. Wow.
But the only question we had, so where we live, there's two big US Air Force bases nearby.
Really?
So you've got RAF Mildenhall and you've got RAF Lakenheath. And Mildenhall's where all the Galaxies come out of. You know, the big supply planes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And there was a thing for 3 or 4 weeks with lots and lots of people seeing a triangular something. And in the end, I think it was RAF Lakenheath said it was a testing, but that was all they said.
Right.
So it's like, kind of believe it.
Yeah.
It's
they're
more
not
the fact.
They're not going to come out and say, "Oh, you guys were just seeing something," or "Oh, that was just a hot air balloon." At least they said, "Oh, we were testing."
Yeah.
So everyone thinks, "Oh, it was them." Okay.
Yeah.
They accept the responsibility. We'll buy that.
You know. Yeah. It's fine.
Sure.
As I said today, I could get that they were testing something, because let's admit it, everyone tests something somewhere.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that it was literally about half a second looking down to the road and back up again, and it vanished that got me. And it's like, there's nothing that flies that quick.
No. Well, and that's that lends itself to two things that are pretty prevalent in like the whole Area 51 UFO-ology. Bob Lazar talks about ion propulsion, which apparently is something that I guess in the lore, apparently the Third Reich had also kind of started to delve into, you know? And then, which I'm sure has no ties to the Antarctica base that they established.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, and the fact
of course not.
fled to South America, which is close to Antarctica.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure all that's just pure coincidence, scattered. Yeah. And then the other was there's an ion thing, and then it defies like the sheer laws of physics, and it almost lends itself to interdimensionality.
Yes,
that's a big thing. I can't remember. I think
it's about Bigfoot, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's kind of how like Bigfoot and UFOs kind of get intertwined with each other. Is that idea of you can be staring at something, and then you look down, at your wristwatch, or you look down at where you're walking or driving, and you look back up and it's gone. And in your case, it's something that probably was like 70 to 120 feet across. Probably like 50 meters across.
Yeah, if it was 300 feet up, how large do you think it was?
I'd say it was probably about 200 meters.
200 meters.
It was huge. It was huge. You looked up and literally it was like there was a triangle of darkness in the night sky.
Wow.
Outlined triangle of darkness in the night sky. It was massive.
Dude, that's awesome.
So it was wider than it was off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that would spook me.
Yeah, dude.
Ooh, that would spook me.
Yeah. What was Fire in the Sky? Did you ever see?
That was the scariest freaking movie I've ever seen in my life.
Adam, have you ever seen Fire in the Sky from
man, no.
Dude.
Because I was watching I was in my late teens, late teens, and I was into horror movies, man. I was watching like all the vampire stuff.
We were watching
all
an interview with the vampires, sipping
Exorcist, just watching all this stuff. But when I saw Fire in the Sky,
yeah.
Check, please.
That like touches two little things in your soul, like acupuncture from hell. It like touches on aliens, which is scary, in just at the base level scary.
Yeah. And
then it touches on home invasion.
Yeah.
Because in that he gets abducted.
Yeah, you get taken against your will.
Yeah.
Yeah, the aliens are not good.
Yeah.
If they're real, and I believe they are, and they're demons.
Yeah.
But if they're real, they're not good, guys. I don't care what the government tries to tell us. When disclosure happens, they are not good.
Yeah.
You can't call it good to take a 5-year-old child out of their bedroom in the middle of the night against its consent or the parents' consent to experiment.
Yeah.
To go for a joyride through the galaxy. It is not good.
What was
that is not not good.
No.
Being.
It's never The Last Starfighter. It's never like there's some cheesy there's some movie. 80s cheese for you. It's never like movie. Oh, you mastered this arcade game, now we need you to come help us fight in the big intergalactic war and blow up the Death Star. It's always like, we're gonna take you and we're gonna probe you and it's gonna be awful and you're gonna hate it. And then we're gonna mind wipe you, just over you the whole time,
so creepy.
I came home from work once and Philip was watching the Independence Day with Will Smith in it.
Yeah, great movie.
Dude, awesome. It's like, I'm not really sure you should be watching this quite yet.
Yeah.
For
the next 3 weeks, all I had was, Daddy, that cloud's very big. Philip, it hasn't got a spaceship in it. It could have, Daddy. No, it hasn't got a spaceship. And then the worst bit is I was standing there talking to my boss with Philip. He'd come shopping with me. And Philip pointed up and said, look, clouds, spaceship in there. And my boss went, yes, of course. And Philip went, but don't worry, we just say, up yours! It's like, oh no.
This is in the little town, right? Where you're already like kind of persona non grata because you're not related to somebody.
Going, why? Why?
Back in the car.
Car.
Just go wait in the car if you friggin' have to.
Yes. So for weeks, all I had was a big cloud. Up yours! No, Philip, stop.
I love him. You give him that one little thing that he can do that makes him feel not quite so powerless.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I love how you wanted to share that with your boss. Was that during church or right after?
Luckily, my boss thought it was hilarious and went and bought him some sweets.
Okay,
there you go.
Good.
So he's like, right, Philip, at least half of them are mine.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
And now I'm going to teach you about taxation.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
What
embarrassing daddy taxation.
Yes. And what happens when you embarrass dad in front of his boss is everybody's got a boss.
Yes.
Christian's almost all the way through the Marvel movies, which means he's getting close to being ready for something like Independence Day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or Stargate.
Oh, man, Stargate's so good. Those are good movies.
That was a good time for movies.
And he'll like Stargate because, James Spader, that's the voice of Ultron.
Oh, yeah. He'll probably
Yeah.
recognize it too.
Yeah.
Because he's like very detail oriented.
Oh, yeah, he'll notice. He'll
Yeah.
notice. Yeah, so we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever seen anything? I've never seen anything in the sky that I thought was questionable. But you know what's interesting? I keep hearing that's your account's really interesting because when you hear about UFO, you assume it's a disc.
Yeah.
Or it's just a light that's moving in erratic patterns at speeds that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is a lot of these accounts describe a triangle,
Yeah.
Mhm.
a triangle-shaped something in
Yep.
the sky, illuminated, in a triangle shape. And that really threw me for a loop. I'd never heard that till recently. Really.
Yeah. And it's almost got this religious connotation and this pure geometric connotation to it, because triangle being one of the strongest, shapes, if not the strongest shape that you can have, and then the whole Trinity connotation to it. It really kind of, what no one can figure out is like, no one really doubts that stuff exists. What no one can really figure out is whether or not they're good or not, and that's like Nick and I tend to err on the side of like, they're probably demons, whatever it is.
They're definitely demons.
Yeah, they're probably not good. And like
or demonic entities. They might not be.
I even
demons
tied
per se.
into like the whole antediluvian, Grigori, Antarctica,
For sure.
kind of thing. Like I think because Antarctica is such a weird, we could do like a whole episode on Antarctica because it's so bizarre. Even H.P. Lovecraft wrote about Antarctica in most of his stuff, and it seems like that seems to be where it's coming from. Both in the sky and through the sea, and it's just it's fascinating.
There's a Chuck Missler has like an hour long. I'm trying to find it here, and I want to put it in the link. About he goes into detail about the events of the Roswell incident.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's so good. If I can find it, I'll put it in.
Well, because
the comments.
Antarctica seems like it might be Tartarus from the Bible, where the Grigori are imprisoned.
Could be.
Yep.
That's why in the Heavenly Realms books, the ice waste is Antarctica. It's like painfully clear. Like in the second book that's what I'm talking about. But I really think there's some truth to that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm gonna find it here. I'm getting close. I was. Let's see.
The Independence Day helped Tempest's voice, Jonathan.
Oh really? Oh, with the release me kind of. Yeah, dude, that was so creepy too. That was I think that was maybe the first movie that Adam Baldwin was ever in.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do?
Die. Yeah. Dude, that's that whole movie, man. Like the South Park guys talk about that all the time. How like that is such a cheesy movie, but you can't not watch it. Like it's so expertly made. That is like, it's like when people are like, oh, why would you like eat a pizza? Like pizza, it's not good for you. It's like, you don't understand. Pizza is like expertly crafted to be everything you want. And Independence
It's my favorite
Day,
food.
Yeah. And Independence Day is like the pizza of movies. It's everything you want.
It's everything.
And it's smart because like every time there's any sort of conflict, the stakes are always raised and or changed. Like it's never the same thing twice. Like that whole movie's genius. Characters have arcs. It's fun. There's a dog.
It's the perfect movie.
Yeah. I love Independence Day. That is one of the best movies. And I remember watching that in the movie theater. We all like went and saw that. And in the toys, you know, you had like the spaceships and, you know, all the different. Yeah, that is a killer movie.
And the cast was fantastic too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You had Lone Star from Spaceballs, you know,
as the president,
as like, you know, and he's a fighter pilot. I'm a pilot, Jim. I belong in the air, you know.
I like it when he fired his defense secretary.
Oh.
Mr. Umzicki, you're fired. You can't do that. He just did.
Well, he just did. Yeah. His little
straight up quoting movie lines. I love it. You know, it's such a great. I really want Christian to see Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Someday, but I know that probably that's never going to happen in our house because my wife's like, no, he's not watching that ever.
Yeah.
And so after he goes out and lives on his own, I'm going to go over to his place and we're going to watch it together for sure and be like, look, this is a movie I had already seen a dozen times.
Hey, you know, that's what Uncle Jonathan's house can be like.
Absolutely. Go to Uncle Jonathan's, watch Spaceballs.
Yeah, because I could be the bad guy. Oh, what? I could be like Dad.
Funny.
Like, I don't know if your dad was like this, but our dad was always like, oh yeah, it's fine for him to watch, and he'd like rent it, like Terminator 2 when I'm like 10, you know, and then like he forgets about like the one sex scene, or he forgets about the one really graphic scene, you know, and then like I'll never forget, Adam. One of my favorite memories of Mom and Dad is I'm 10 years old, sitting on my knees, like glued to the TV, watching Terminator 2 for the first time because he rented it, you know, and there's that scene where she knife hands. The T-1000 knife hands the stepdad through the mouth, you know? And the camera pans over and shows it. And all I heard from the back, because Mom was the responsible one.
Yep.
And Dad was the fun one, you know? And all I heard from the back was, nice, Larry. Real nice. And Dad always had this like innocent, goofy laugh. He's like, "What?
What?
Oh, it's all right. I mean, he's seen worse than that."
Yeah, that's Dad. Like, what?
What?
Oh, come on!
Whatever.
It's just a movie.
It's just a movie.
Dad said, "I'm going to take you to see the original Flash Gordon."
Oh,
and
dude,
like,
awesome!
Oh. So we went to the cinema. I was 12 at the time.
Yeah.
We get in. Dad has come straight from doing a funeral, so he's got, you know, the collar on, the jacket on, all dressed up. And we're sitting in this theatre, and all of a sudden, Dad goes, "Oh no!" And it's not Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
it's Flesh Gordon.
Flesh Gordon. Whoops! Yeah.
And there's Dad going.
Our dad would have done the exact same thing. and you're getting an education.
And like, I'm sat there going,
Orange Daddy, style education.
Daddy, because of course the baddie's called Minge the Merciless.
That's right.
And I turn to Dad and I go, Dad, what's Minge? And he said, right, come on. And there's a vicar stomping out through the theatre in front of everybody going,
oh my gosh. Can you imagine what that person at the ticket booth was like when you know when he walks up?
Here's this collared priest taking a child to a porn flick. I'm like, should I be calling someone right now?
I thought this was the Church of England. I didn't know these guys were Catholic. You know,
we get back to the car and he just turns to me and he goes, "That did not happen."
Yeah. Circle of trust. This is between you and me.
It's a line of trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
But then I let it out of the bag. So,
children.
Minge the Merciless's ship is a dildo.
Right? Of course it is. What else would it be? Yeah.
So on Christmas morning, Dad has a tradition where children are allowed to bring their toys that they've got from Father Christmas to show at church. And this mother is sitting at the back with her son, and she goes, "Yes, of course you can." And he comes running up and goes, "Look, Vicar, it's Mummy's rocket that Daddy bought her."
Oh no!
And I then sit there and I'm sat next to Mum and I went, wait a minute, that was the baddie in that Flesh Gordon film shit.
That's Minge the Merciless shit.
What did you just say? And Dad is then, Dad's got the whole congregation and Mum just stands up, grabs him by the back of his robes and drags him into the vestry. You just hear, what did you do?
All of a sudden, your dad turned into Brian Blessed from the actual Flash Gordon.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so
great.
awesome. Your church sounds like a lot of fun, Adam. I gotta be honest with you, bud.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't happen at my church.
Yeah.
Darn.
You know, if more stuff happened like that at church, I'd probably go. I'd probably start going again.
I can be a religious man. Oh, sure.
Yeah, this is way more entertaining than just like sitting around looking at the dog. You know.
Sundays he always did a lot. So he always did an 8 o'clock service, a 9 o'clock communion, then he did a 10 o'clock family service, then he did a 11:30 communion, and then he did a 6 o'clock evensong. So there was something for the whole family. So if you've got kids, there was a short service.
That's smart. That's really smart. How long was the short service?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. Really, man, that is short, dude.
And that included him doing something fun.
Oh, really?
So like he'd do a talk about building your foundations on the rock of God.
Yeah.
So he'd get 2 children to stand holding a bridge of cardboard boxes, and he'd squirt them with water, and of course they'd fall over. And he'd go, "That's what happens if you don't build your bridge on solid foundations." And then he'd build the same bridge on the church steps, squirt it with water, and it wouldn't move.
Yeah, man, how cool.
That's cool.
You guys, see, we do it so differently here. I think you guys probably don't have like youth pastors or Sunday school. Like, does everybody go to the same service? Yeah, see, I like that, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, over here, so Dad has got 1, 2, 3. He's got 14 churches at the moment.
14.
Wow. So he makes the circuit. He has to make a circuit, essentially. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yep.
Man,
They're hurting for clergy.
Are they really?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but see, like, you Anglicans got it right because you can get married and have kids. You don't have to do
True.
that, like, weird forced celibacy thing that, like, no one, yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's stupid.
I mean, look, yeah, it's like such a weird misinterpretation of the Bible. I mean, whatever. There are plenty of priests who are great people, but obviously it lends itself to a certain, aspect. Like, I think like the Anglican angle has kind of got it dialed in a little bit better on that of like,
absolutely.
Because like, okay, do you really want to go for marriage counseling to someone who has sworn off marriage? Do you really going to go talk to like, your preacher about, or your priest about like, the model is just not conducive to like real life, like, do you want to go talk about your troublesome teenage kid, who's acting out and being rebellious to someone who is never going to have children? Like, no, you want to go to the, the Anglican, the Anglican priest is married, man. He's got kids. He's got Adam. Is Philip like a carbon copy of you, Adam? Is he?
Yeah.
I kind of get that feeling.
I love it.
When we were like chatting with Philip earlier, that like, I bet this is Adam like 20 years,
sure.
30 years ago.
I was worse.
Were you?
I was worse.
Well, he's so sweet. Like, he's cool. He's fun. He's high energy.
He's a cool
excited.
kid. He seems like a really cool kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I am. I think Eva May is a lot like me.
Yeah.
Eva May is a lot like me.
Yeah.
Only just not as snooty about everything.
Nick was tons of fun growing up because like Nick has always been the one to like get me out of my shell, and so like Nick is like the best
running buddy, you know,
Yeah,
because it's like, because you think like
I'm a good wingman.
Yeah, Nick's
I'm a good
like
wingman.
yeah, Nick's a lot like Harry Connick Jr. in Independence Day, except he doesn't blow up, you know.
And I'm a better singer.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Well, I don't know. Harry Connick Jr. Star Turtle's a good album. I'm just saying.
It is good. No, and fair point. Fair point.
That's true. I mean, I do listen to Nick outside the shower sometimes. He doesn't know it, but you know.
Wait a minute. Your shower or my shower?
Well, you know, your shower, of course. You know,
Whose shower are we talking about here? This is getting awkward.
this got weird.
This is
Brothers
weird.
don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug. Brother love. I'm just saying it's a walk-in. You know? No, you know what? I
Who's
never
the Catholic priest now. Go ahead.
yeah, really. Yeah, who's wearing the collar now? Yeah, they don't call me old bread and fishes for nothing. You know. They don't call me old you know, Merlot loaf for nothing. You know. I never had any alien experiences, but I did one time. Right when I started writing the Heavenly Realms books, Adam, I had like a bunch of weird dreams and a bunch of like depressing things sort of happen in life. And it was very clear that like, I think this is how it works. The evil, Satan, the darkness, the fallen, they don't care about you as long as it's almost like they operate by the non-aggression principle. They don't really care about you as long as you're not in the army. But once you like take up arms and once you enlist and sign on the dotted line and start doing something for God, you're on their radar.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
Because if you're lukewarm, and this is kind of like the point of Wayfarers, if you're lukewarm, you're not a threat. If anything, you're like a passive resource.
A useful idiot.
You're a useful idiot.
Yeah,
you're like the ding dongs in Portland. You know, you're just, you know, you're
or Minneapolis.
You're not hurting their cause because you're not active. But the second you become active, man, you are now a combatant.
Yeah.
You are a combatant in a theater of conflict. And I didn't have.
As soon as you have an opinion.
Yeah.
A contrary opinion. Take a contrary stance.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you align yourself, you know, when you align yourself with the forces of heaven, man, you are the enemy of, you know, the Leviathan order. And I remember I had a dream where Dad was praying over me while I slept, and I was basically like being abducted. And like a big part of abduction, I couldn't see anything. There was just like shadows and like the swirling darkness above me, you know, like a octopus ink kind of. But there was obviously something there that was like sucking me out of my bed. And I think I was like 17 when I had this dream. And I remember just repeating like Jesus's name over and over was like the only thing that pushed back on that. And I remember like waking up and it being very, very weird, you know, and just being really freaked out.
My mom has a almost identical experience.
Really?
Yeah, where she was in bed, she felt she didn't feel like she was being sucked up and abducted, but she felt like there was something in the room holding her down, and she was so frightened that she couldn't speak. So she kept just thinking Jesus's name over and over and over and over and over. And
I had those too. Yeah. Hypnagogic experience or hypnagogia. It's where you ever see that if you look up the Google image, if you do a Google image search for nightmare painting, like literally the painting of a nightmare is like a gremlin like sitting on a lady's chest while she's sleeping in a bed, and there's like a horse's head coming out of a like curtain or something. But that's that's
what's
like
it called? Let's look it up.
You might want to look up hypnagogic or maybe just nightmare painting. That might be a little broad. But that is it might be hypnagogia. It doesn't matter. It'll course correct. That's a big thing with like alien abduction, demonic possession. It's almost like they're all kind of tied together. Yeah, that one.
Right here?
Yep. That second one's a little bit better in color.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, that's horrifying.
And you can't move, you can't breathe, you can't speak, but you can think. I mean, look at the eyes on that horse.
We're about to do a screen share here.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, in a horrifying sort of way.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff, that hypnagogic experience, that demonic possession, all of that is kind of tied into, there it is. It's tied into alien abductions and UFOs, and I think that's where we get the idea that like UFOs are malevolent in nature.
Yeah, they've got to be. That's just.
Yeah, I had that happen in. It happened again, Adam, when I finished the first draft of Heavenly Realms.
Did it?
Yeah, it was really weird. Like I had a real hard time sleeping, and I would. It's tied in with shadow people. Because there's always like this idea that there's a malevolent force in the room with you that's sentient, but disconnected somehow. And did I ever tell you the story about like when I finished the epilogue to the first book in my apartment? I'll end with that because we probably got to go in a minute here.
Yeah, Adam's got to go to bed too.
Yeah, Adam's got work and he's got to get away from us. I'm so sick of hearing these two morons.
He's like, yeah, this thing went way off the rails. We were talking about writing and books and
this
stuff.
This was cool for a while.
Like
I had a real hard time figuring out the ending to Empyrean Falling. And I remember it was summertime 2005. I was in my single bedroom apartment writing on my little iMac G4 or whatever. And I couldn't figure out how to end it. It's like, what do you do with that epilogue? When Gabriel is talking to Marcus, and then the light bulb went off, and there's that part where Marcus asks Gabriel, he's like, because Gabriel's done, he's getting ready to leave, and Marcus asks him, well, like, how does this work? Like, what do I do? Do I like bow or do I salute or what am I supposed to do? And Gabriel laughs at him. He's like, no, it's I who bow to you, and it suddenly occurred to me and I started expounding on that. And then it hit me that like, that's the whole point. That's the whole thing, is that like, because it even says it in the epilogue, like Marcus realizes that's the problem, is that Lucifer never would have bowed to a human, and as I'm like typing that up, I was drinking a can of Boddington's, ale. And I remember like I'm sitting there typing, and as I type that part about like Lucifer would never bow to a human, windows are closed, AC is not running, like there's no fan, it's just there's no current and everything's level. And I'm not kidding you, Adam. I see the Boddington's can just out of nowhere beside me go. Just move about an inch, like twist and rotate an inch. And right, and it's like, and it's just a little bit to just give you the willies.
Yeah,
to just like, no one said anything. There was no voice. There was no like, there was nothing else that happened. It was just that. It's the most subtle thing in the world,
Jeez.
And it's like, and I kind of think that like, I don't know, Adam, you can tell me this, but I kind of think that was because it's like, okay, that's either a good guy or a bad guy, right? And it's understandable for a bad guy to wig you out, but I think that was a good guy. I don't know if that was God or a messenger or what, but there's always those moments in the Bible where the angels are like, be not afraid, It's like, I'm not be afraid,
right?
Like you're covered in eyes and you're on fire, like you're speaking with 1,000 voices. How can I not be afraid? But I think there is that moment of like, if you encounter the supernatural, even if it's a good guy, if it's just something as subtle as that, it can still wig you out, and still make you feel like the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah,
because it's just so aberrant. I don't know. I mean, and maybe not. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I have never had anything like that happen since.
Yeah, it's kind of like it was kind of like that experience I had when I was lying in bed and. I heard it was reading, and the lamp was on, and Rihanna was asleep.
Oh, that's right.
And she was sleeping on her left side, and her back was to me, and I was over on my right side, and I was reading, and the lamp was on. And all of a sudden, I hear a voice in my right ear, or excuse me, in my left ear. And I hear a voice. Not only do I hear it's a whisper. It's a female voice. It's a whisper. But not only do I hear it, I feel the breath on my ear.
Oh, dude.
And I was startled. I was startled because I wasn't expecting someone to talk to me. And I turned around and I looked around and thinking it was her.
Yeah.
But she was out. She was out.
Yeah.
She was out. And there was no way she could have whispered it and turned back over and pretended to be asleep without me feeling and seeing and all that. There was just, it was a whisper. I could feel it on my ear. And I turned my head and she hadn't moved at all. And I knew that it was something other than, and it wasn't my imagination,
right?
Wild as it is, because I could feel it on my ear,
man.
It was, but, and when I realized what had just happened, when it dawned on me that it was most likely something supernatural, there was no fear. There was no fear in the room. It was this beautiful, soothing, assuring woman's voice whispering to me.
That's interesting.
And there was no fear at all.
Wow.
So I knew that it had it been something else, I would have had that cold rush up my spine and the back of my neck and my shoulders ache when there's that fear. Because I've felt that. I know when there's something, a malevolent,
thing.
presence. I get this, I get this sensation. But with this, there was none of that. Wow. It was total. It was just everything was peaceful. Everything was cool, and that was bizarre. But I mean, when you feel fear, that's an indication that unless the thing says don't be afraid. An angel's going to say don't be afraid if they know what they're doing is going to cause fear. But there was no fear. There was no need to say that to me because it was awesome. I think it was an angel, personally. I think it was an angel.
Yeah. Chick angel. Think she's hot?
Of course. Celestial.
She now watches over you from the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Why do you think I'm always going? Yeah. I'm going to get a proton pack. I'm going to harness that angel. You know
what she whispered?
What's that?
Call me. My number is 789-38.
Yeah. Or I think what she was whispering was corn or flour tortillas. Get your brother out of here. He's flirting with all of the girls. He needs to leave.
All right, man. Well, I think that's it for us. And and anyone who's watching, we're glad that you. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We're glad you joined us, and we'll take off. We'll let Mr. Burrell get some rest, and we appreciate having him on. It's always great to see Adam.
Yeah, this was fun.
And that's it for us. Just remember, you can't. I love this little tag. You can't hack a typewriter, and that's what we're all about.
We might end up
simple, keeping it pure.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. These things are tons of fun. You know what would be cool is like take a field trip, take a vacation to England, and just like see if you could go into like England's antique stores. Because we got antique stores, but dude, we're only like 250 years old.
Yeah.
Like imagine the cool stuff you can find.
Man, yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna have to sell some guns to fund that trip. Worth it. And I'm gonna come and eat all of Adam's bread because I'm telling you, dude, Adam's bread. Like, what is it?
Pick up a loaf.
Olive loaf.
Olive, jalapeno and cheese, sourdough and rye, 3 cheese bread.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Heck yeah.
Like, I'm going to gain 10 pounds in the next week just eating bread, just pretending that I'm in Adam's bakery. So, well, Adam, dude, so awesome to have you again. This is always super fun. We got to figure out like a cool initiation ritual to make you a part of the Goslings.
Make you a Gosling.
Yeah, because Adam is for sure like third Gosling.
For sure.
And that is the strongest shape you can have, So what more, that's right. The circle is now complete, For now, we'll just go for like larger and larger concentric triangles.
Yeah.
Throughout, we'll just have Adam will be in charge of a branch. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll have our little Illuminati triangles. If we do this, do you think we can sell more books now? If we just like do the Illuminati stuff? Maybe YouTube will catch on.
Oh, cover our right eye or our left eye?
I can't remember. I think it's your right.
You cover
eye?
your right eye. Everyone do this. Maybe we'll. Maybe the tech gods will bless us. Oh, our camera just died.
Of course it did.
There it goes. There it
goes. One of these days, we're going to get this down to like an hour to an hour and a half. It's not today, but we're slowly like trimming the fat.
Yeah.
By episode 30, we will have this figured out.
Yeah, that's the indicator. That's how people, if they watch this, they'll know like, oh yeah, it's about to wrap up. Their camera died.
And Nick's squirming bladder.
Yeah, I got a piece so bad I can taste it.
All right. Well, Adam, love you, bud. Great to have you back. We'll talk later throughout the week. And Adam Burrell, you can find all his information. I'm going to post links to find him below, along with Nick's stuff for the Travelers League and all sorts of stuff like that. The links are there for every episode. It usually takes a day or so for me to post them, but I'll make it happen. And then I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Nick.
And you are
Adam.
And we are the Gosslings.
Yep.
See you guys.
See you later.
See you later.